welcome Wolfie to LINEA ROCK.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mammoth 2 sounds like the second chapter of a single journey, by the way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Are these all new songs, or did you have something in the can from the previous sessions? Since you had like 10 years to write the first album, this time the deadline was closer.
Yeah, no, these are all brand new recorded songs for sure. I think overall, I was just very excited to record again. It had been since 2018 last that we finished tracking the first album. So yeah, I was just very excited to get back in the studio and to record.
So first time around, you of course had to keep the Van Halen flag up high, but this time you also had Mammoth WVH #1, which was a great success. I see the cover of the new record, which has, a particular mood. First off, is John Brosio again the artist who made it? Or, okay,
yes,
it's him.
Yeah.
La mano è la sua.
La mano è la sua. And I see that skeleton. Does that represent you? And I see that, it seems like an old studio or an old house, then the carousel, the wolf's pack, the old TV set. So tell us about the concept behind the cover.
Oh, this was actually one of his pieces of art that we modified, just like the very first album. And I was just so struck by it. I thought it totally represented at least my headspace from the past few years, and I think many others could relate to it. I think it's just a great piece of art, and I thought it was the perfect cover for the second album.
Does it, in a sense, represent the mood you're at right now? Maybe a little bit of pressure on you?
I think maybe through the process and the recording process, yeah, certainly.
This time, you, of course, as the first time around, you wrote and performed, recorded everything on your own. You didn't have a band back then, but you do have one now, indeed. So why this choice again? And are you demanding on your musicians? Which is the reason why you prefer to do everything on your own?
Because it's what it is. It's what the first one was. It's Mammoth is my artistic expression. I think there's a duality that some bands have, for example, like Nine Inch Nails. Trent does his thing in the studio, and then live he gets this amazing band, and it's this different experience. So I guess that's what I'm trying to shoot for with how Mammoth is set up. In the studio, it's sort of my outlet for creative expression, and live I have my amazing band that we kill it every night because they're incredible players.
And Michael, Elvis Baskette, is producing again. So is he the only one that can put a word on what you do while in the studio, or even him is not allowed?
Yeah, I mean, between him, Jeff Mull, our engineer, and Josh, our assistant, it's really the four of us in there that make it happen. When it comes to recording and just the entire process, Elvis is literally the other half in the studio. I think when people see that it's just me playing, they're like, well, how do you know if anything's good if you never bounce it off somebody? Elvis is that person. He's sort of my partner when it comes to leading me in the right direction and making sure I don't make mistakes, or if I'm on the right path, to keep pushing me in the right direction. He's a very important part of the process.
And having the chance to tour with the first album put you in a different mindset while you were recording, the fact that that then you have to bring the stuff live. So
yeah, certainly. I think I came into this record with a lot more confidence after touring for the last 2 years. With the first album, I didn't even know if I could do it. It was kind of to see if I could, and I was trying to find myself and what the whole process was. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to sing it, but I ended up that I could. And after touring for the last 2 years, I think I came into it, like I said, with more confidence, and I pushed myself in ways that I don't think I could have been able to achieve on the first album. I think vocally, I've improved in comparison to the first, and there's more guitar solos. There's, I think overall you can hear that aggression and in both attack and heaviness of the music, but also melody as well. basically, I was just doing everything I could to avoid a sophomore slump. I just wanted to make sure, because like you said, you have your whole life to do the first album.
Yeah.
And the second album, I only recorded it in 2.5 months.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people, it's like they expect the second album to not be as good. And in my opinion, I think it's even better.
And do you compose more day or night, on guitar or on bass, or maybe the piano, or maybe on the road or at home is more comfortable? Which is your
more often than not, it's on guitar that I usually come up with an idea first. But in terms of time, it just kind of happens whenever. There's never really a moment where I'm like, oh, it's nighttime, time to write, or it's usually, the idea just kind of sparks on its own out of nowhere. But when it comes to recording, usually I record at least vocals later in the day. When it comes to playing the instruments, usually it's in the middle of the day. But yeah, vocals require a specific mood in the studio that you can only kind of achieve like later at night.
Last time you told me that your dad was such a bad guitar teacher, but composition-wise, what did you learn from, the Van Halen camp and from your dad as well? As a composer, did he give you any tip, or it just comes?
No, he never. He made it it was very important to him that he didn't taint my musical growth, and that I became my own musician. Because I think I would have been really boring if I just played and wrote exactly like him. I think it's important that I'm my own person. I'm my own musician. So I think he was very proud of that.
So in the video that we just saw, you introduce the band in a sense. You fire yourself and then you introduce everybody. So this is gonna be the stable band. From now on, that's the message that passed through and that you want to deliver.
So far in the video, who knows what may happen in another video or something. You never know. But I just thought it was. I thought it'd be a really funny idea to fire myself and then to include the guys, because we've been touring so long and they're like my best friends. So I just thought it'd be really fun for us to be in all in the video together.
I have a curiosity on the video that we're about to see now from the first album, Don't Back Down. Right there is just you, of course, playing everything, and you impersonate different characters. Different persons. The guy that is always late, which is the drummer. The liar, the gloom, quiet one, the grumpy. All sides of the same coin, or who's more like the real Wolfie of the four?
Yeah, I think the real one was the one singing. And then all the other ones was just kind of an extension of just sort of playing a joke on the fact that I played everything on the album.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be funny to do that.
But that is not a part of your behavior. Having those edges, in your attitude.
I think to a certain extent, I've got a lot going on in my head, possibly.
Okay. Van Halen at Van Halen 1 and Van Halen 2, you're like, following the same path. And it seems that this record is going to be harder and stronger than the first one, hungrier. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, the one correction is that rather than following Van Halen, I'm ripping off Led Zeppelin. So.
Okay, really.
But second of all, I think after touring for 2 years and just really getting to experience the live setting with the band, I think you can hear a lot on this new album of just stuff that was written with the live show in mind. Just aggressive, exciting, hard rock songs.
How does it feel now for you to listen, to the first one? Do you used to do it? Or?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't really listen to it, but I recently went through, because I was making some set lists, and listened to the first album for the first time in a long while, and I was like, this is still pretty good. Like, I was like, I like this. It's like, I was still proud of it. So yeah, I'm still very proud of it. But this new one it's new, so it's more exciting. Maybe it's a bit of recency bias, but I'm very excited by it. I'm super excited for everybody to hear it.
And what do you remember the first time or first show, as a frontman, was like a total different kind of experience for you?
Yeah. See, I've been used to being in other bands where people are there to see somebody else. I can just kind of stand to the side and do my thing. But now I'm the person that everybody's kind of looking at to be entertained by.
Yeah.
And that is that's a big ask from somebody that is so introverted like myself. So I'm certainly in a very weird business for the type of personality that I have. But, you just kind of, you do it. It took me a while to kind of figure out. I was worried. I'm like, how do I act when I'm on stage? And I just decided, like, I'm just gonna be myself.
Okay.
I don't really put on an act or anything. I'm just me.
That's the best thing. Now that this seems that it's like your new life. This is what is going on in your life, and this is a career, a real one. Do you think about it, or nothing changed?
No, it's certainly it's been a new chapter of my life for the past 3 years, and it's very exciting. I feel very lucky to be able to do what I'm able to do. It's pretty crazy to see. We've been doing this for only about 2 years now, but it's like recent shows. People are singing the lyrics, and people are very excited. Like, we've only ever toured Europe once, but when we were there when we were all around with Alter Bridge last year, the crowds were super responsive, and people have just been so wonderful. So it's a pretty incredible feeling to be able to be respected for my own person. It's pretty cool.
A lot of classic rock bands are the reason why a lot of us musicians start to play. And for you, the impact maybe was twice as strong. How can you explain, why music would have been your life, your path, no matter what, anyways, even though
I just think
that wasn't your family?
I just think, certainly with how everything went, it was just my environment and being around it. But at this point, I don't think I'm good at anything else. It's just, it's what I was meant to do.
That was like in your destiny.
I guess so. It was never really a moment where I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. It just kind of happened.
Okay.
So I just kind of found myself on the path, and it's like, well, I guess this is what I do, and that's good, because I can't imagine doing anything else.
So there was no moment in your life when you said, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a policeman, a fireman.
No, I was 15 when I started.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, this is what I do.
This is your life. And how long did it take to record the record this time?
So let's see. We did the music right before I left for Europe last November, I believe. So it was about half of September and most of October. Then we toured Europe, and then we came home, had celebrated the holidays, and then January finished it by doing the vocals and guitar solos and stuff like that. So all in all, it was about 2.5 months.
Okay.
Which was a
quick.
lot more of a condensed schedule than the first album, which was recorded over the course of 3 years.
Yeah, of course. And you recorded both albums at 5150 Studio, of course. Mm-hmm. Is that...
The second one was fully recorded there.
Okay, the first
album was mostly there,
okay.
But some of it was at my producer's studio in Florida. And then there was a moment where we recorded drums in Burbank, California, at Energy Studios, because my dad and my uncle were rehearsing at 5150 for the Van Halen tour in 2015, so we couldn't record in there.
Okay, so that's actually, heavy for you, because, sometimes, the frontmen say, okay, now we're doing the drums, so I have time to relax.
There's no time to relax. It's, we did the drums, now get up and do the bass, and now get up and do the guitar. And so it's like I don't really have the time to focus and prepare. It's just you get in there and you do it. And
the fact of recording this second one, you said you've done pretty much all in the 5150 studio. Is that because, it's more relaxing you feel more at home, and in this phase of your life is maybe better to be in an environment which is familiar?
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. It is home, and it's if I don't use it, nobody's going to.
Yeah.
It's a part of my family, and it's in a way I feel obligated, but not in a bad way. It's like I need to be making music there because otherwise nobody else will, and it's a part of my family. So
among the songs that you recorded, there's this new single which came out, which is Like a Pastime, and which is very particular, and actually it tells how many flavors there are on this second release. And also I know there's a particular inspiration behind the song which regards your girlfriend or something like that. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. I think I had been listening to Meshuggah at the time, and I was trying to teach my girlfriend, who's now my fiance, what a polyrhythm was. Mm-hmm. And I ended up, it was too complicated trying to teach her to the Meshuggah song, so I ended up going into my studio and be like, okay, it goes like this. And that's when I just happened to make this quick little minute-long demo of the beginning of this song, where basically it's like the guitar and the bass at the start is doing the tempo, and then the drums come in and the kick is accentuating a rhythm on top of it.
Okay.
But not to overcomplicate it, it's just doing it for eight counts. Like if it was Meshuggah, they'd probably do it for 40 bars and it would just be confusing. So it's sort of like trying to uncomplicate something complicated. So just kind of a fun little origin. But I think overall the song sounds a bit more mature. So I thought it was a fun vibe, and I thought it was important that people hear it before they hear the new album, just to show that it goes in a few different directions.
Was it one of the last songs that you composed, or it?
No,
it wasn't supposed to be a song.
That was one I've had for a while. I think I taught her that in 2016, so I've had that idea since then, and it was the very first song that I recorded vocals for.
Okay.
So when I did that thing at the end, where I kind of almost screamed that note near the end in the last chorus, that was me kind of like going like, hey, let's see if I can do it. And then I did it, and now I'm like, well, dang, now I have to do that live all the time. Yeah. But I think that was another sign of that growth vocally. Like, I don't think I would have been able to do that on the first album.
The tour is about to start with Metallica in Paris, so that is going to be like a huge crowd.
It's crazy.
And will you stick in some of the new songs, some premiere,
we'll certainly be playing the new song that we just heard.
The two singles, okay.
Yeah, but if we play any new songs, that we'll have to figure that out, because we haven't practiced all of them yet.
Okay. How long is going to be your set? In the opening
with Metallica, I believe it was 35 minutes.
Okay, so
I can't remember. It's like seven songs.
Yeah,
I'd have to double check. I can't. That's a question for Tim.
And you're coming also to Italy on the 23rd of June in Bolzano.
Yeah,
that is going to be a full show.
I believe so. Yeah. That's gonna be
so you have two different set lists, the short one and the longer one.
We've got three different set lists,
wow,
because we're gonna be playing with Alter Bridge as well.
And Pantera.
So it's like I think we have about 15 songs on hand that it's like, okay, let's make sure we know these so we can organize the set lists in any order.
Will you have time to rehearse before, or you're ready?
Yeah, actually, we leave tomorrow, and then we fly in, and I rehearse right away for the show that we have the next day.
Okay,
so.
Wow. So it's going to be another long day.
Oh, yeah.
So you said before that music was destiny for you. Of course, you had a signature guitar right before even being born, pretty much. But you started as a drummer. Does that, in a sense, influenced your approach to other instruments, and also your style and the way you write songs?
Yeah, certainly. I think I have a very rhythmic perspective when it comes to the way I interpret music and the way I write music. Rhythm is a very important thing to me. That last song is a good example.
Yeah.
So yeah, certainly, you definitely got that right.
So you are the living proof that drummers are musicians. You know that?
Absolutely, absolutely. The backbone of every band.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you ever think about that? This way, always the jokes are about drummers. So.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
But do you feel more a drummer or a guitarist?
I mean, lately, guitarist, but
Okay.
I started on drums, so it'll always be what I love most.
Do you have a favorite track on the record right now?
It's tough. It's like asking to pick your favorite kid. But,
Yeah.
I really like the very first song. Right. I think it really is a great example of my mission statement as a songwriter and as what Mammoth is, which is to blend heavy, aggressive rock music with melody and have neither get in each other's way, that they can live together harmoniously.
This time it's 10 songs. Last time it was like 17, if I'm correct,
It was
with
too
bonus
many.
tracks.
It was a lot.
So this time it was a choice to. Are you selective and severe with yourself? I think
with
you
the first-
wanted to have 10 songs and.
I think with the first album, it was, let's give a good, big example of what the band is. I think there's a lot of different flavors on that first album to show you what the band is capable of. But then when it comes to this album, it's okay. Like, here is the next level up. It's a bit more intense, but it's very distilled, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only 45 to 50 minutes, and by the time it's over, you want to listen to it again, and that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah. About Take a Bow. There's a long guitar solo in that.
Yeah.
Do you improvise in the studio, or you pretty much write, the parts?
I think I'm really bad at improvisation. When it comes to, I definitely write my guitar solos like I do songs. Like it's a thing that's very important to me to have it flow properly, and to just kind of dance around in the right way. So yeah, that was definitely a first for me with that solo, because it's the very first solo I've done that's like long. I think it's at least over a minute or something.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing for me to try. Again, another example of me being a bit more confident, getting into the studio and trying new things and challenging myself.
I have to make a Van Halen question, of course. Or also our listeners will kill me, you know that. Are you in charge of everything Van Halen right now?
No,
Since your uncle, is
that's my
an
uncle.
old guy, so but
he's still got plenty of life in him. He's very spry. But yeah, no, Al is the purveyor of all things Van Halen. Yeah.
Is there anything in the can that you're gonna be involved? Maybe like a tribute concert to your dad, like the one you did for Taylor Hawkins?
Oh, no.
No way.
No.
That is never gonna happen.
No. I think with the Foo Fighters, they have a lot less drama involved in their camp,
Okay,
and
I
unfortunately, with Van Halen, there's many pieces that don't operate as they should, unfortunately. But that's neither here nor there. That's just how reality is, unfortunately, sometimes.
But you've been in Van Halen, so your uncle actually asked your opinion on things that maybe are in the can, projects.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly there to aid him in anything, but he is absolutely the end all be all when it comes to everything.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna see the Distance video. Distance is like it was an instant classic, and it's such an amazing song. First song that you put out, instant classic, and you had a nomination for the Grammy. But you didn't win.
Oh, being nominated alone in a category of musicians I've been listening to my whole life is ridiculous. I didn't have to win. It was winning,
so it's
winning enough.
better that you didn't win?
Oh yeah, because I'm not better than Paul McCartney. I'm not better than Dave Grohl, but to be considered among them, the highest honor I could have ever received.
Did you expect to win maybe for a minute? No way. No way.
The second you do that, I don't want to curse, but you don't want to be a butthead.
Okay. Okay, so before we see the video, we want, of course, salute your mom, since she's Italian, Valerie Bertinelli. So, okay, I'm not sure if she's watching, but we send our best to her. So you don't speak any Italian language, right? But she speaks Italian at home.
She tries. She tries.
Okay.
She says mangia before every time we eat.
Okay.
If that counts.
Does she like any Italian music and actually put any Italian music at home for you?
You know what? I'd have to ask her.
Okay.
For all I know, she'd probably just Google Italian music and then get the first thing that plays.
Okay, so grazie, Wolf.
Grazie.
It's been a pleasure to have you in our studios.
So
Do you want to introduce the Distance video for us?
Yeah, here we go. This is the very first song we ever released, Distance.
Grazie. Ciao.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.